No, hello, everybody. I'm Pat here with Denny at the Super Bowl Radio Row Library. We forgot to bring a real microphone, so we're actually talking into my Apple Vision Pro Quest.
Right, and we put it on invisible mode.
It is invisible mode. Puka Nakua gave us a pair of them. He was on our show yesterday, and he was a big fan.
Right.
Very big fan of the Apple Vision Pro. So first off, we're down here at Radio Row. We've had amazing content all week, if I must say so myself. Denny, who did we talk to on Monday?
On Monday?
First day of the week.
We chatted with Kevin Clark in what may have been the best Rotoworld football show ever recorded. Really fun stuff with Kevin. He talked about...
We talked about his narrative or numbers Super Bowl. He talked a little bit about Ben Johnson. He's got an amazing article on Ben Johnson you should go check out. And by the way, we're here for about 30 minutes. Get in your questions. We had an amazing talk with Kevin on Monday. Had a really amazing talk with NBC's Drew Dinsick on Tuesday, where he tried to Chiefs pill me. He's like insisting the 49ers are just going to stomp the Chiefs.
And 49ers pilled me.
Yeah. He's got Denny saying deranged stuff.
I actually can't even conceive of a Chiefs victory in the Super Bowl after talking to Drew.
So we have that show. Yesterday, who'd we talk to? Yesterday was the best show of the week by far. We talked to Puka Nakua, talked to Tony Pollard. Both really great guys. Puka is such a happy young man. He is the least cynical person. He's not just the least cynical athlete, he's the least cynical person.
Which was jarring for us as two incredibly cynical older men.
Born haters, as they're known.
Right, but it's impossible to hate anything related to Puka Nakua, including, obviously, his fantasy production. He was okay with talking to fantasy nerds. Not every player is. Really affable young guy. I like him a lot.
We talked to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins this morning. We're going to talk to Jalen Waddle and Braxton Berrios a little later today. We're going to talk to the Athletics' Robert Mays later today to kind of come in and basically give us a real Super Bowl preview from a real football perspective. But check out everything all week. Everything's evergreen heading into this game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. Thanks for being with us. We'll go with some questions here.
And it doesn't have to be football related.
No, it actually doesn't.
We're actually begging you, to ask non-football questions.
So, Nathan here with a really tough one. Oh, thanks, man.
Oh,
thanks, dude. Puka is probably the favorite interview we've ever done. That was amazing stuff. Bandit's got a question here for Denny.
Yeah.
With Joe Thuney doubtful, who would you bet on as the other short area non-Rice Pacheco Chiefs pass catcher, if anyone?
Right. So, you're talking about 70, maybe even 75% of the targets are accounted for between Rice, Kelsey, and Pacheco. So I guess one of the other tight ends would come to mind, but really, the other receivers running routes consistently, Justin Watson and MVS, they're not running anything in the short areas. Okay, so I don't know if you hear that rumble in the background.
That's a T-Rex.
That's
that's in the Vision Pro I'm wearing.
Right.
There's a dinosaur coming at me.
I'm scared myself.
Denny is the lawyer who gets eaten on the toilet in Jurassic Park,
and that's fair. I actually think. So who's the other tight end?
Noah Gray.
Noah Gray could be the key to everything in DFS. I see we actually have a DFS question.
Yeah, we'll get to the Gremlin Brotherhood.
Yeah, who, by the way, big fan of my Friday stream, Gremlin.
But he needs a sick and disgusting DFS play. Eli Mitchell, CEH, Jerick McKinnon.
It's a good question. So I don't think McKinnon's going to be active because Andy Reid said he's not going to practice this week, and it's just really, he's been out for 2 months almost. It seemed like a really long shot. So I would lean CEH if McKinnon doesn't play. Elijah Mitchell, honestly, I think this is a game where Mitchell doesn't see the field unless McCaffrey gets dinged up. McCaffrey could easily see 25 plus touches here. There's no tomorrow. It's that sort of game. They're not saving him for anything. I don't really see much appeal in Mitchell. I get it. He scored a touchdown last week. I know, but that was after McCaffrey hurt his neck on the previous play.
No. So one of the prop bets I was asked to talk about earlier this week though was Eli Mitchell over under 1.5 carries. I'm hammering the over.
You are?
I absolutely. Dude, I every time I keep making this point. Every time the camera finds Christian McCaffrey on the sideline, it's either the massage gun or the chiropractor. I'm just going to crack your neck a little bit.
There's none of that this time.
No, there will. Dude, it's the game.
He's going to be properly medicated.
This is game 19. The dude
I get
is
it.
banged the hell
I
up,
totally get it.
way over for the the touches, the carries.
Right.
For,
By the way, in DFS, the sick play that I like in the captain is KC defense.
I thought you were going to say Noah Gray. KC defense is not very sick enough by your standards. I thought you were going to say Butker.
I mean, sure.
Butker, real quick. Bandit. If you have any good questions for Braxton Berrios, let us know.
Throw him in.
Let us know. Nathan, thoughts on potential T. Higgins landing spots and whether he's a buy or sell right now in Dynasty heading into free agency.
I mean, everybody would want him as like a buy, right? I mean, but
I don't know about that. Even though he's going to go be a number one receiver somewhere, he's leaving Joe Burrow. He's leaving an elite offense. Denny, he didn't say that. He actually said this right to T. Higgins' face. He said, get ready to learn Tennessee, buddy. Get ready to learn Titans or Jets. And so that's the problem with being an elite receiver who reaches free agencies. You might have to sign somewhere with not a good quarterback situation, not a good front office situation.
Or
it's no guarantee that even though he's going to be a number one somewhere, probably he's going to be set up to succeed.
And that's only probably. I mean, if he went to the Jets, for instance, he'd be the number two behind Garrett Wilson. You know, if he goes to even to Tennessee, I know it sounds maybe a little weird, but he'd be the number two.
He would
behind DeAndre Hopkins. So, I mean,
it's another thing. We're going to find out if he's actually a number one. If the league actually believes that he's a number one.
If he goes to Jacksonville, I guess he would be number one.
I think aren't they out of money for this kind of thing? Maybe not.
There's no way to know.
We're looking very powerfully into who may sign T. Higgins. In general, though, I think when a value is in a vacuum, like we don't know it to be, I always consider that a buy because it's bet on the upside instead of worrying about the downside. I love to trade for players when they're free agents to be in Dynasty, and sometimes it backfires horribly. Like they end up somewhere as like the number 3 receiver on a bad team. But in general, when someone's entering free agency, I view that as an amazing buy opportunity. And Dynasty.
But I do feel like everybody's going to treat him as buy. So I don't know. I want to say sell.
Yeah.
I kind of do.
Nathan's wondering about T. Higgins on the Bears.
Please no.
Well, why not?
Oh, right, because they're abandoning Fields.
It's going to be Caleb Williams. Although Denny off camera may have.
I'm dabbling in Caleb questions.
Well, you weren't dabbling. Denny off camera guaranteed he's going to be a bust, but it's very early in the draft process. You might change your mind.
What I would say
he was trying to shock me.
What I would say is too small.
Oh, you are really on. Is he like 6'1"?
Yeah.
He's 6'1".
But there's no way to know.
He's 6'1".
We're gonna look it up.
The combine's gonna be happening soon. But yeah, Nathan, it's the best time to. By the way, if you have questions, get them in. We've got about 20 more minutes. We're here at Super Bowl Radio. Again, if you have questions for Braxton Berrios, please.
He's 6 foot.
Please get those in. If you have questions for Braxton. If you have a question for Braxton, I'm absolutely begging you.
Too small.
To get in. Braxton or Caleb Williams?
No, not Braxton.
Denny, who's the craziest person that you've seen so far this week? That you've just seen?
Well, there was a guy wearing a red sequence jacket that said Taylor Swift is football.
Oh yeah.
Which I was kind of afraid for his safety.
Denny, tell the audience who you choked on saying hello to.
Oh, guys, it was not. I actually had
he choked big time.
I had to tell my wife.
I heard you. I literally heard you telling your dad.
I had to tell my priest, my therapist. I had to call my grandma. Dan Marino.
You choked.
Dan Marino. Listen, I can't emphasize how much of a hero he was to me growing up. Okay, I have 8 Dan Marino jerseys. I have studied his entire career from high school on. I know everything. I lived and died with the Dan Marino Dolphins in the 90s. And I had a chance to either shake his hand or take a selfie, something, and I choked. And I didn't do it because here's the thing: I'm a 40-year-old man. I feel like I'm too old for that stuff.
It's not just you. Also, you do literally work for NBC. You're supposed to have a veneer of professionalism.
Yeah, well, the veneer goes on and off, but it was a missed opportunity.
So Denny is supposedly a professional, and yet his company card is suspended. Because he forgot to expend something, not for anything bad, but yeah, come on, NBC, we're watching. We got our eyes on you.
I was going to say, hey Dan, my company card's suspended.
We got Stevie Janowski here with a great question. Stevie, we love Stevie, a real person. Stevie Janowski, definitely not a character from Eastbound and Down. Would you rather be trapped in the Tesla tunnel for an hour or the Vegas airport overnight? Vegas airport, shockingly poor.
What is a Tesla tunnel?
You know, they have like the underground like taxi thing here where it's like one Tesla at a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
It is. Reminder though, the Vegas airport is awful.
It is. And I actually have been. I got a flight delayed years ago, and I was waiting for my flight for like 12 hours.
It's a struggle bus airport to be stranded in, which I can't believe.
I was like, I've never been less happy than I am right now.
No, I hadn't either. And like, is there a Wendy's in this airport?
No.
Is there a Chick-fil-A?
Nope.
And it's all like local corrupt vendors with like nondescript. It just says like Mexican food.
Right.
I'm like, can it just be like a chain Mexican restaurant, please?
Can I get one Taco
Yeah,
Bell?
I love, literally. I'll even eat Taco Bell. Taco Bell's a sponsor of the show. They're great guys,
I love
by the
Taco
way.
Bell.
Yeah, they're not a sponsor. Did we see Tony Pollard yet? Did you tell him about the rotor? We choked on telling him about the cover.
Well, we didn't choke. We didn't want to do that. So
why not?
We
Yeah,
did
that was cool.
talk to Tony Pollard, and we kind of addressed his disappointing season without like being.
Well, we addressed
confrontational
it
about
through the lens of he was injured.
I did. I after the show, I said, look, I begged Pat not to put you on the Rotoworld cover,
The
magazine cover, and then he had me arrested. So
he said, "Who are you?"
yeah, right.
So
he actually challenged me to a foot race,
he did,
and I won, which is the crazy thing.
Tony Pollard's a really good guy. We will say, Tony. It seemed like it wasn't quite like Derrick Henry press conference on the field level. It seemed like he was moving on from the Cowboys. It did seem like he was moving on from the Cowboys.
Yeah, we asked some questions beforehand, and it was pretty clear that
it seemed that I don't know. He may have been told already they're not re-signing because last year was the franchise tag. They can't franchise tag him again.
He did learn during a Super Bowl interview that Dan Quinn was lost to the Commanders.
Yeah, I know that was quite something.
Maybe he hasn't.
Dan's got a question that's going to be hard to do off the top of our heads, but top 5 tight ends next year. I'll ask you, do you think Brock Bowers will be a top 5 tight end off the bat next season?
I think we have to sort of adjust for like this new era, new breed of tight end who really they operate like a receiver. We saw Sam Laporta do this. I know it's funny to say Kyle Pitts. Well, but I mean, true. Like if Kyle Pitts were in a viable system, he would be good, and I think that he will be valued this year. Anyway, yes, I do think that there's a possibility Bowers would get in there because whoever drafts him, I mean, hopefully, I would say likely. The likelihood is whoever drafts him is going to have him running routes. Okay, and that's the thing that we've kind of been missing in fantasy from rookie tight ends is the route running.
Do you think, Denny, instead of listing 5 tight ends, I'll ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Do you think Mark Andrews will fall out of the top 5 at tight end, where the injury history is getting a little concerning? He's 29. Isaiah Likely has proven to be like a viable, like he needs snaps.
Yeah.
I consider Mark Andrews post-peak, but do you think he's falling out of the top 5 at tight end?
I think that would be a huge upset if he did. I think it would be an injury or something. Isaiah Likely, I think he's kind of trapped until he's a free agent. I hope that he gets freed one day and can be the tight end 1 for a team, but it's not going to be in Baltimore.
Denny, we got a question here from the Oven Reactor, looking for some props. Is there going to be a streaker or a cat on the field at the game?
The analytics say that there's more likely to be a dog than a cat.
Dog? Really? Is that for real?
I looked into it before the game. No, for the show.
The analytics say I'm sending a text.
Well, there was someone climbing the Vegas sphere, and I do want to emphasize this quickly. There were a lot of rumors online.
You want to emphasize that it was you.
That it wasn't. That I just want to say it was not me. I think Pat will tell you it's me. I also want to be clear. My hard limit of 2.5 hard seltzers has not been exceeded, and so that wasn't me on it.
Every night, by the way, I think you've been claiming every night you've had one more beer than you actually did. I always want one more, and Dave's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I was like, when did you have a second Mick Ultra?
Right. Yeah. Well, the thing is, you can drink those quickly.
You can drink them. There's a reason why all of our parents love Michelob Ultra. Love Michelob Ultra. Is TJ Hawkinson out of the top 5 next year?
Well, I've read reports, like real reports, that he probably won't be ready for week 1. But you know how that goes. Like we hear that now, and then by August, it's like what ACL? It's fine. So does he fall out? I don't think so. The volume.
I don't
is
think
just
so
crazy.
either.
It's just a crazy. And
Well,
because I believe Cousins will be back.
I was gonna say, is
Cousins
Captain
back.
Kirk gonna be back?
It's just he's a cheat code. He's just a scam.
I'm not entirely sure Captain Kirk's gonna be back.
I'm pretty sure.
The Vikings have been trying to quit this relationship for like 4
There's
years.
nowhere else to go.
I mean, at some point they're gonna have to.
Yeah, at some point, not this year though.
This is kind of might be a good job roster. I feel like. Maybe not. Actually, Brian Flores has that defense.
I mean, Justin Jefferson might just sit out, man.
I guess it's not a gut job roster. Stevie, I will. Asking if I can avenge. I couldn't name 5 active fullbacks. Pete Overset. It's a gotcha question.
Are there 5?
There are. It was a gotcha question from Pete. Pete and I have spoken since then.
Wait. Let's try the names.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Use check. I got one.
I mean, use check. Everyone can name use check.
What about the Ravens
Who
guy?
is the guy on the Ravens?
The big.
Patrick Ricard.
Picard. There you go.
Ricard.
Him too.
Captain Picard and Patrick Ricard. There's other fullbacks. We know fullbacks. Who's the guy on the Browns? Don't they have a fullback? Andrew Beck on the Texans played last year. Pete,
That's right.
we're working on it, Stevie. You're gonna have to help me.
We're gonna look into it.
You're gonna have to DM me.
Very strong.
Bandit wondering about. He's trying to come up with questions for Barrios. I don't know if we can do this one.
So I appreciate it, Bandit, but we are not going to talk about bonus points for returns with players. I mean, someone asked us that
He would walk off the set if we did that.
So someone suggested we ask Quincy Williams from the Jets about IDP. Okay, IDP format. I would rather throw myself off the sphere.
So I asked Jamar Chase a question about fantasy. Like, we got to get you double-digit targets, and I'm thinking he'd be like in full agreement because he likes to have the ball. And he was like, "Damn!" He's like right out of the gate.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. I thought you'd want the ball.
I mean, every time the Bengals lose, they have you chasing. He's like, well, it's because I didn't get the ball.
I know.
So I thought that would go over.
I've never felt more fantasy and bio than I did asking that question.
Man.
He fantasy and bioed me so ridiculously hard. Reggie Gilliam is on the Bills. Denny, who's some? We got another question. He's Nathan saying Denny good at fantasy. Good at fantasy.
I can vouch. Oh,
is this a guy from the Discord league?
Because I beat him in the championship this year. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Nathan. Of course, yes, Nathan. Very unfairly, and in a way,
very unfair, very bad.
I had a lead, and then I didn't.
We're gonna get him on the sphere. Okay. It's gonna be beautiful.
So what happened? Where did the points come from, Nathan? Where did the points come? You've never answered that. That's all I'm asking.
Never asked that. Denny, I don't know. Who's another crazy player we've seen walking?
We saw Eli Manning. Who,
oh my God!
By the way, here's the thing about Eli: he's tall. Which a quarterback should be.
I don't know why that took me by surprise. I mean, I've been on his Pro Football Reference like 100 times. It says 6'4". He looked like he was like 6'9".
He's tall. He's taller than Caleb Williams.
He looked like he averaged 20 and 9 in the 1990s NBA.
Yeah,
he looked like a power forward for the Atlanta Hawks.
Matt Ryan, also very tall.
I knew Matt Ryan is huge.
We saw Drew Brees, and Brees. Let me tell you, that man walks with a purpose.
He does. Well, Brees, he's like only 5'11", but he's like a real tall 5'11" too. I wonder if he's almost had his leg extension surgery.
Oh my God.
Come on.
I'm only asking questions.
We also we're wondering, so Drew Brees, no longer throws with his right arm. This is not a bit. And someone asked us if we needed a pass completed, if we'd want left-armed Drew Brees or Denny. And even Denny's like, come on, you got to take Drew Brees. Left-armed Drew Brees.
It's not even close.
It's actually not. He's probably working on it every day.
He can probably throw a perfect spot. He'll probably play like in the UFL left-handed. He wants to play.
Yeah, he does want to play.
My question was left-handed Drew Brees or Bryce Young, and I don't know. I think that's a toss-up. The Supreme Court has asked me not to.
They have asked you not to weigh in on that anymore. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, we would like some questions.
We would like some questions.
Who else was I starstruck by? We saw the TV show guy, the guy you said you've seen.
I wasn't starstruck by that guy. Honestly, don't put it in the paper that I was stuck. I'll just be honest. He
kind of stars.
It was the Pawn Stars guy. I'll be honest. I'm not casting aspersions. It seemed like he wanted people to recognize it. So like I was like, yeah, I've seen your show.
We saw The Rock.
We did see The Rock. Denny's going on the Pat McAfee show later.
But we did see The Rock on the McAfee show, and so did everybody else.
We did. Yes.
I think I saw Cam Newton yesterday. He was making
the volume
a lot of noise.
The volume on the McAfee set is not low.
It's
so
some would say it's definitely
a little louder than our library Q&A we got. We don't have any questions. We're gonna bag it. We're gonna call it.
We might call it. Are we talking about DFS at all? Showdown lineups?
We'll talk about DFS after we have Robert Mays on the show.
Right. We'll talk a little DFS. I mean, only so much.
Well, here we go. We got Joey Rats. What receiver, not named Kittle, Kelsey, Rice, Ayuk, and Debo, are you starting a Super Bowl LVIII?
I mean, okay, so if Tony is inactive, which I think he will be,
he was down extraordinarily bad at media night.
I kind of want to say Richie James. If he's
not even
if Tony's not,
is Justin Watson he's still out there running routes?
He's getting good exercise, which that counts.
Chris Hoganing.
Oh, he's Chris Hoganing.
So hard.
He's looking into being the superior Chris Hogan.
It's tough, man. The single game showdown. It's like
you got to hit one,
and that's the thing. There's no. I feel like we can just admit there's no strategy or logic to it. We're just putting them in.
Okay, I would say
MVS.
If you're entering a large field, and we'll talk about this, but if you're entering a large field tournament for the Super Bowl, and build at least a few lineups that go completely against narrative. Okay, I know Pat's probably gonna just stop the stream here, but Niners blowout.
Truly not.
Okay.
So Drew Dinsick put a spell on you.
Okay,
or something.
so but this is what I'm saying. Does anyone think the Niners are gonna win the blowout? No. But if you build your lineup so that you would benefit,
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Suddenly you're rocketing up the board. Also, a grinding defensive battle with a bunch of field goals. That's one. No one, I don't think anybody would expect. But if you build it, you'd be very different. So you're trying to get different, and also maybe leave some money on the table. It's hard to do, but it does make your stuff different.
That is a very interesting point. Denny's been making about DFS this week. Is maybe don't spend it all. Even though it feels totally sacrilegious.
Yeah,
it's sacrilegious. But we have to end the chat.
Yeah, man.
We got stuff to go do. Final day, Radio Row. Thank you so much if you've been listening.
Yes.
We got a few more things still to come. We're having the time of our lives. Thank you for NBC for sending us.
Absolutely.
If you're listening. So for Denny, I'm Pat. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back later today on the Rotoworld Football Show feed.